Hey, what's going on, everyone? Astrologer Eric Rosen here. Welcome to Celestial Conversations. I'll be your astrologer talking about this weekly horoscope going ahead from April 23rd. I saw these on Wednesdays until April 29th of 2025. What a year it has already been, and we're just getting started, right? Before I give the usual theatrics, I just want to say, if you're not feeling your best, that's okay. We'll talk about ways that you can, I would call it, resurrect your soul's code to feel the full vitality and healthy nature that you deserve to have. I actually, I'm feeling like a little woolly, little caveman-like. My barber had to cancel our session today because they were not feeling well. Hashtag astrology, hashtag ascension symptoms. Before we get into this week's horoscope, I do want to say, if you want to book a personal astrology reading, you want to go deep into the cosmos and how these cycles are affecting you, you can click on that booking link down below to book that reading. I feel it's important for people to not just, look at the coming months ahead, but even starting to pay more attention to our lunar return charts too, just because these are such pivotal moments. The more integrated we are with the different layers of our astrology, the better, right? It's like, of course, you have your natal chart that makes up that base layer, you have the transits, how it affects it, but there's also the deeper subconscious layer, solar arc, progressed, not to get too complicated, but then your solar return chart, right? How it sets up for your year since your birthday, whenever that was. And then every month you get a new natal chart. And so these are really pivotal times to pay attention where the energy is going. And so I like to pull a lot of those charts together. Sometimes people ask me how often, should they come and get an astrology reading? And I always tell them that the answer varies, but I think right now getting one every month or two is like not the worst idea in the world, because honestly, this can be really transcendental breakthrough times for people that want to evolve and innovate. And that's what this Course Weekly Horoscope's all about. Doing this now in this, I would say, next 7-ish month period, maybe go into August, but the fall, it's a much different record. And so I think the more that we can take sustainable steps forward towards this new era that we're headed towards, and you could even call it like an era of providence, of being divinely protected by knowing what your skill set is, knowing how to create, but also knowing how to dissolve those stupid old blocks that get in the way. Of course, that's what I help people do. I highlight those things in the astrology readings, and then of course you can go deeper with me in coaching containers to help flesh that bullshit out and actually create what it is that you came here to create. Destiny, purpose stuff. And it's not sugarcoating it. It's not sensationalism. Like, these are really remarkable times where we all have an equal shot at rising up and doing our best work. So anyways, check out those links down below. And then of course, if you're just wanting to get more of a day-to-day vibe on things, like whether it's like daily horoscopes, weekly sun sign horoscopes, even a new group coaching offering that I've got, you can check out that other link down below. That is for the new tiered offering that I'm giving, so you can check that out for more details. So let's talk about this week. The major transits of this week, most definitely that new moon in Taurus, but then also all that cluster of Pisces energy, Venus, Saturn, North Node. We're not going to see Venus leave Pisces and come back into Aries to reemerge with her fiery, intense passion of what she wants until we come back the following week for the horoscope that follows. But those are the major transits, and so it can be really dreamy times, but we've also got to keep our footing on the ground. And so, I love the big combinations of Pisces and Taurus energy. Of course, we've got other things, spread throughout the zodiac too, and Neptune in Aries has already been a big hit. Just look out into the world and the intensity of the things that are going on, and trying to understand what's real, what's not real, what's wearing a mask, what's not. But Pisces Taurus energy works really well together in the zodiac, because you can take a concept of a dream and you can actually bring it into physical reality, because a lot of it is really just being a physical vessel of the divine to let creative potential flow through you. And that the mind doesn't need to get in the way of the what ifs, the hypotheticals, the fears, the doubts. And so it's a lot about knowing our worth, number one, right? Like Taurus is always about knowing our worth. This is going to be the last Taurus season that we have with Uranus fully. The sun will come into Taurus next year with Uranus still there, but then Uranus is like, oh, sorry, you took too long. Like I'm going to Gemini. You'll have to catch me here. So this is a big evolution since 2018 of, the evolution of our value systems. But the nice thing is that the friendly part about Uranus and the way it rules Aquarius, and with Pluto being in Aquarius, it's like you're always going to get another shot at moving your life forward, evolving it. But with all this astrology though too, it's like it's not about Frankensteining life too, like trying to bring something back that was already dead because of the uncertain territory ahead. You got to trust yourself, dog. Like I know a lot of people are saying, I don't know what to do. It reminds me of there's a movie that I highly recommend, but although it might not be everyone's cup of tea, but Joe Dirt. It was a David Spade movie, and there's a scene in there where he's new at a job, he's working on the oil rig, and he fucks something up, and he's like, I'm new, I don't know what to do. And it's okay for us to like make those mistakes, but I think as long as at the end of the day that, we know our worth and that we're putting ourselves like in a situation where our skill set actually matches, because that was the thing, is he probably lied on his job application. He wasn't qualified for the job. The job, sucked. It wasn't a good fit. This is a very South Node and Virgo thing. And so with that North Node on Venus and Saturn, like you best go into business for yourself in terms of like what quality of life that you really want. Spirit saying you did not come here to suffer and stay in some functional box. No, your health is not going to hold you back if you know how to resurrect your soul's code, as I said, which is a lot of like turning on the switch, like flipping the switch to go more into like what your passion is, especially if it's something of service to the world. I didn't even mention, like I mentioned, it's like, oh yeah, the Taurus Pisces energy, right? New moon Taurus, all the stuff at the end of Pisces, but also just as big is this very rare final opposition that we're going to see with Mars in Leo versus Pluto in Aquarius. And so, we'll see this every year for a long time, but not one that's in its post shadow, because that's what's rare about this Mars opposition is this is like the third time now, if I'm not mistaken, because of the retrograde of Mars going backwards in Leo, going back into Cancer. And so it's been a lot of opposing it. If memory serves, we might have even had a little bit of Mars in Cancer post Pluto. Yeah, because we didn't really get that shift until January, but I'm going off memory too, so I might have to update the notes at the end here. And so that's that you could call it divine spark, but it's more of like the spark of what's the courage of something that you're willing to put out in the world. It's about our creativity. Pluto's the world. It's like, don't get depressed about what's going on in the world and trying to understand the hidden truths that are going on out there, and just, we're going to start to see more and more explosions and fireworks of technologies that have been hidden. We might, eventually start to see more of AI like ramping up, maybe not like this week. It's like, if anything, I'm like looking at ChatGPT, like, can you just like make me a picture that doesn't like have some gibberish in it? It's like, it's 99% good, just fix this one thing, and then it like generates a new fucking picture. And it's like, Jesus. So, not too happy with that right now, but whatever, did it for a PowerPoint presentation that is I'm just doing it basically for service-based work as a, business-driven opportunity. So, but we really have to bring up this Pluto Mars opposition because it is squaring over to this new moon in Taurus. It's not exact, but that potency of that moon building up into Taurus, it's a T-square. And so like the pressure is on. Like it's easy to get swallowed up into drama. It's easy to get swallowed up into chaos. It's easy to fall short and not have enough energy in the tank to rise above the chaos and to innovate your life is what this show's all about. If you're not willing to be stubborn as fuck for your values, you have to know what those are. Those have to be defined. And so, when it comes to anyone saying, well, I'm not sure what direction to go, it's like, I get it. We're getting used to Neptune and Pisces, but we were just getting familiar with that. We can't really use that as an excuse to hold our energy hostage of initiating and taking steps of things that we want to move forward to do. We just really have to make sure that we're arming ourselves with our creative potential, but also like this includes people too, right? Taurus includes our relationships. Aquarius, includes just people in the world in general, and community, friendship connections, those acquaintances, And then the Leo energy is all about, it's just more fun when you bring your regal flair and your creative side to those situations. And so, a lot of people might use this like it's more of a combustive energy that's dramatic, destructive, and it's tough because it's actually a hidden low self-worth issue or not knowing how to embody more wholesome values to just kind of be the bull, be the Taurus bull, and just like put the head down and stay grounded and create. It's about creating money. It's about creating things of value that are physical. And so, as I've been saying, it's like a lot of the way through this, is to know your worth and to just be creative. This is a highly, highly creative time, right? Like we could be a freight train right now as long as we're aligning our identification concept and our skill set like with spirit, like during this time of in trials and tribulations, they come up. It's like, don't slow the locomotive. It's like you can plow through the tornado of the chaos like during this time. So it's like, don't let something going on with relationships that might be fading away, that aren't upholding the value systems, or getting lost in what's going on with groups of people or world stuff that like they don't care about you, you don't really care about them, and so it's a clash that doesn't even matter. Like it has no like value to even those engagements. And I'll sneak it in again. I've said it before, but it's Tupac. It's not that I don't want to see you eat, just not at my table, right? Compassion and empathy can seem optional during these times, but it's highly regarded. I think it's a sense of self-mastery with Neptune and Pisces. And so, we have to, I think that the craziest thing that I've found, like personally through this too with Neptune and Pisces, is that it's impossible to, divorce the contrast and polarities of ourselves, whether you want to call that, like our light and our shadow. It's more about acceptance of it, compassion for it, integration of it. There's a very feminine component, I think, that actually the hesitation that comes up with Neptune and Pisces comes more from when we're falling into too much like dualistic mindsets of things. And so, we just can live and let live in ourselves and others and just go create awesome, beautiful stuff. It's a really grounded time, surprisingly, but it's only grounded if you know how to like kind of put a little bit of tunnel vision, right? The bull does not have time to be on the fucking cell phone and gossiping with the birds about what something else is going on in another country. The bull is here to plow the fields, right? And so that tornado chaotic energy that is Uranus, yeah, it's a very real thing, but that tornado's touching down over at the edge of the field. It's like, you'll know when you need to take shelter in your life. If like there's a cautionary tale of a lesson or something coming up, it'll be really physical, which I know some people like that. It's like they're having major health things or major financial things or major relationship things, right? This is this unprecedented energy of that Saturn, Venus, North Node that met at the end of Pisces. It's not really a shock that the Pope passed away like during that energy. And so, it's one of those things where it's like there is some karma that we're sort of inheriting, and I don't think we need to beat ourselves up about the decisions that we made to create that karma. It's more just like, how do we take ownership and trust that we have the goods to stably work our way through it, like with some consistency, and to just like learn and accept the lesson, and that it doesn't have to be punishment. And maybe it's a little bypassy, but I think some of this is maybe to some decisions or predispositions that we made as a soul before we came to this planet, whether that's like how this astrology happens to hit your natal chart, on how things are showing up. But again, it's Pluto and Aquarius as part of this T-square to this new moon. And so there's no one that has like some chaos or drama that's like worse than anyone else. A lot of it is really just about, do you know how to keep both feet on the ground and to create? Because it's about creation. It's not Scorpio energy, like other people's resources or investments, or like some stockpile of cash or crypto to like save the day. It's about making sure that you're on the cutting edge and that your knife is sharp for what you're good at, your skill set. And so, because Pluto and Aquarius is part of this T-square, it's like, this is going like, it can be exciting and shake things up if you know how to bring in technology into the pursuits of whatever it is that you're creating in life, whether that's like business, projects, like all the relationships that can connect to it. I know I sound like a broken record, like partnerships, relationships, projects, money, but Taurus is very, very basic like that, right? It's those very physical things. Like it's okay to like be basic like that, and like know what you like and know what the quality is, and to know the value. So I don't think we need to freak out this week. I think that sure, there's probably going to be some world stuff that comes out, but if you know me, it's like I'm looking at how can we, innovate our lives on a more like individual level. It's like sometimes you get downloads about stuff going on, but I feel like a lot of my job was to like lead people especially since 2019 and especially 2020, but it really started 2019, of like pointing out the deception of the games played so that we could like accept that sooner than later, so that we could do the shadow work that needed to be done to see where we fuck with ourselves and get in our own way, where we're our own worst enemy, we're our own hidden enemy. A lot of times it's our own soul and our own blocks. It's very Pisces energy, and did that in order to like evolve forward to get to this point. And the hidden enemy energy does come from Pisces, where Saturn, North Node, Venus is at. So this has got us kind of like dead to rights of like, we have to accept that karmic responsibility and the sensitivities of like whatever the situations are. And it's not meant to be doom and gloom, not at all, not by a long shot. It's way more about, okay, this is where things are at. It's like, yep, that square between Saturn, Jupiter being in Gemini, it's going to get stronger. And so, we have to pay attention to how things are with, sense and sensibility. But if you're feeling stuck in any way, I would use that throat chakra. I would like, if you're feeling anything in the throat, if you have any like thyroid stuff going on, like low energy stuff, like I would use that throat chakra to declare to the universe like what you want. And if you ever watched the show The Office, where it was like Michael Scott, like, oh yeah, you just declare bankruptcy, and he's like shouting it at a rooftop, declaring it. out loud. Maybe threw some water on the whole concept to make fun of it. It's like too much of a woo thing, but when you say it with meaning and emphasis, and you're planting those seeds with the universe, and you make that just basic dedication to do it, I mean, if nothing else, to transcend the woo part, to make it a little bit more, you could say, palatable from a scientific standpoint, it's just like you're affirming the belief in yourself that you have the goods to go do it, and your conscious mind's affirming to your subconscious that you're worthy of going and doing the things that need to be done and taking the actions to make it happen. I really do believe that the energy raises up, that we find more of our vitality right now when we're in creation mode. It's a weird chicken egg theory, because if we succumb to, well, I can't do it because I don't feel well or because I have the symptoms, it's almost like, it's kind of the hard part about, 5G, and there's stuff in the food, and ascension symptoms, and fucking, what was I gonna say, solar flares and stuff. It's all a very real thing, but you're also equipped to deal with it. Mars in Leo opposed Pluto in Aquarius. Mars is way fucking stronger. Your heart, your courage, your tenacity, your definition of who you are and what you love is way stronger in that tug of war. Pluto's in Aquarius. That's not a high position for Pluto. Pluto likes to go down, dig up. Aquarius energy wants things to go up. So, everyone, it was so weird to watch how excited people got about Pluto and Aquarius. No one was doing that when Pluto was coming into Capricorn, when it left Sag back in 2008. No one got excited about Neptune and Aries. It's all about Pluto and Aquarius. You're part of the people. It's like, do you understand Pluto and Aquarius? Like, do you know, like, it doesn't go how you think it's gonna go, right? Like, it can be a chaotic path to getting to the root of truth. And so, if you need resources right now, like, some of it is just using that throat chakra to call it in, but then also, like, Taurus, it's like, it's right there, it's like your life. This is another Joe Dirt thing. Life's a garden, dig it. The garden is all around you, right? Like, your skill set, your ability to pull from within to create what it is seemingly out of nothing. And that's what the beauty of that Pisces Taurus piece that I mentioned of working together, it's right there. It's not a chase. Like, so in a lot of ways, is it really calling it in, or is it more like the acknowledgement of going, I'm affirming that it's right there? And honestly, some of it is also like, do we even need the pyrotechnics of getting ourselves all jazzed up like we're gonna go fight the biggest battle of our lives, and maybe we just like do it, right? Where it's like the David versus Goliath fight, where it's like, the one beating his chest, is actually the loser in situations like this, because it's spending too much energy on the bravado things and trying to impress the world. Because that's what could be weird too about that opposition of Mars and Pluto. It's like using all the energy to try to impress some person that you don't even like actually know, like you don't actually know them. So it kind of reminds me of like, this was so random, but I remember seeing a thing on like Post Malone, like when he released his like first album. It's not like I'm a fan or something. It's just these random things that pop up over the years, however I found it. And he was like talking about how he was just doing his thing. He was just creating. He wasn't trying to like be anything. He was just, creating. And then one day, he released a track on whatever, and then he woke up and it went viral and it like launched him, right? So it's like, that's the kind of energy where it's like, you just like stay in a committed to your own values and doing like what you love. And then if it needs to catch the winds of the positive form of chaos, which is like this explosion of things going in a positive direction of life changing for the better, then it happens from just being real as fuck, you know. It's basic in that sense. Like the try hard person that's inauthentic with this astrology can never keep it up. There's a cost. And so it's like you look at this stuff, it could be the cost of the sustainability factor, it could be health, adrenals, like stress. I saw a video of a woman like putting out some content, and she was like doing her thing, and she's like trying to do this thing, and she did the video or whatever, but then she like you could tell like she's trying too hard. And then she had this video where she didn't edit out the last like quarter of a second, and you could see when she had stopped acting for the video and came back to normal, the pain in her eyes, and she didn't edit that part out. So it's like confirmational of like the things like sometimes that we do to, you know, act like we're okay. So while this is a time, you know, about, you know, creation too, it's like if you're not feeling okay, if you're not feeling worthy, if you're not feeling stability, that's where you got to like reach out to your support system and find those people that you trust and that want to see you truly succeed and shine. So don't let the Keeping Up with the Joneses, world media, all these types of things, and some like double overtime of the MTV era, like, you know, reality TV show era, convince you that something's wrong if you're not keeping up. Like, we're all in different rhythms and cycles in life, on personal levels, on group collective levels, but with this being a new moon in Taurus, it all points back to, do you know your worth? And so when you know your worth, it's like you won't push yourself to the edge, you know, of annihilation of your soul, basically, like pretending like things are okay when they're not, right? It's like you got to know what your worth and what your value is, and that you're worthy of like taking care of yourself. You're worthy of not pushing aside, you could say, the elephant in the room of things. And so that's any area of life. Like, this is a new moon that's designed to push things to the surface, right? Because Taurus is the opposite of Scorpio. It's about what's above the ground. You know, like, it's not about going deep and underground and into the roots of things. It's about what's already sprouting. But so then when in this T-square with Pluto and Mars, it's about bringing it to the surface for evolution's sake, for an evolution of your passion, for the evolution of your heart's soul, your heart's courage of things. So I just wanted to see if there was anything else that wanted to come up in the channel. I will say that what's coming to mind is Leo deals with kids too, right? So because Mars is in this square, I think it's really beneficial for us to consider that sustainability values in the world. I think we need to start putting like way more effort into things around kids, the younger generation, like looking at this from a more mature standpoint, because there is a maturity of Aquarius. It's Saturn ruled, and then Uranus. Like, I always think of like the fact that it's ruled by Saturn in the traditional sense, and then Uranus in the modern sense. Like, yeah, like you have the dad lessons on how to be better for the future, but then Uranus is like the goofy, crazy grandfather that has its weird way of like teaching lessons it is an air sign, it's masculine, right? So it's like thinking about this wisdom and this opposition to knowing how to make sure that like we're putting energy into this department of passion around youth. Can't say that, it's a little tongue-tied. The younger generation, we'll put it that way. But also our own youthful energy of like even knowing how to have fun, because Aquarius energy, Leo energy, Taurus energy, in their higher octaves, they all know how to have fun, right? Aquarius, I'm out having fun with my friends. Taurus, I'm having fun in my relationships, doing things that I value. Leo, I'm having fun creating and doing the things that I love and just, dancing around. So it's like, but it's a square energy. And so it's a spark, it's a combustion of, yeah, it's like create, but it's like also know how to have fun too, which is something that can get lost, especially with Pluto and Aquarius, because it can be a little icy. It can definitely be a little icy. You can even feel like the connection to the heavens is a little icy, a little bit like reminds me of like having to deal with more like like the tougher, hard-nosed like spirit guides in order to like succeed and move forward, but also seeing like not getting hung up on that too, and how to reach for the light and to like not be afraid, because I see some people getting pulled down by that Pluto and Aquarius, whether it's like connecting to frequencies that are not good for the ascension. Oftentimes this is like very seductive desires, like very sexual based like things, and there's no judgments. It's more just like we have to look at like, is it actually evolving and moving forward? Because like Pluto energy can also be an extreme seducer too. In Aquarius, it's all about moving forward. Like Pluto evolves us, right? It's evolutionary. It's very primordial in that way, and it teaches us through fear. But Aquarius is like, we got to move forward too. So anyways, having fun, connecting with our inner youth, but also those younger generations too. Like I see this so clearly that it's like, we talk about a lot of like really dumb shit. We debate a lot of dumb things like publicly, and there are very valid things that we need to be talking about. But I think that the things that we talk about that are in the mainstream that most people are weighing in on is probably only 10% of it is valuable. And I think we're going to look back at the end of Pluto and Aquarius and see like a lot of it was just distractions and distortions and just the final edges of like letting go of like the deceitful times of rising out of these darker periods of just corruption. Like it's already ended, but then there's a part of us like sometimes where like we personally got seduced by it. So then we had to like see that like we were a part of that collective energy too, that the astrology affects everyone, and that it's not like we all had groups of just different people that were Jesus like running the earth, running all around and like being like way above the evolution of everyone else. Like we're a collective, we've all been evolving. So anyways, it's a week to create once again, but the exponentiality of what actions you're taking and you're creating cannot be understated. So if you have a block, you have a delay, you have something, you figured out, a problem, you either have the worth to overcome it, to put the effort in to create what you need. You have the phone to call someone, you have a support, you have a resource. No one should really be without during this time, unless, I would say that it's soul amnesia for some people, where it's like not seeing the value of like, finally we get to move forward. Like finally we get to like actually move into an era of more spiritual protection, where we're slowly but surely, and this is getting ahead, but like, you know, I'm going to talk about this more at a different time, but it's like last time Saturn and Neptune met was in Capricorn in 89. And so it's like, as spiritual beings, we've had to really deal with the iron-fisted reality of Saturn Capricorn energy, of the world and governments and how it's all connected in that way. But we're getting closer and closer. We're going to see it by the end of next month, Saturn in Aries. And so we're going to start to get to feel what that Saturn-Neptune conjunction energy is like, where that it ends that old cycle since 89 and it becomes more about being a spiritual being. And the reality is, depends what level of personal accountability and responsibility that you want to have. And everyone's had that shot. It's just, I know it can feel limiting, you know, like there's heaviness, there's a ceiling, but like now it's really about like, okay, cool. Like we can actually take steps if we're willing to initiate and actually create things and make things happen, and see that there is doesn't have to be so, the spiritual lessons more so come from if we're in our ego, or we're hesitating, or we're like unsure, we're sure-footed. Like the lessons are like way better and way more like yielding like to the next step by coming at it from a place of bravery and courage, especially when it's from a spiritual place. So if you want to book an astrology reading, that link will be down below, as well as those tiered offerings I mentioned. The ebook link will be down below too, and some other stuff. So appreciate you all. I will see you next time.